Hello, and welcome to English with Magdalena, the podcast where we explore fascinating topics while helping you improve your English skills. I am your host, Magdalena, and today we're diving into an important issue from the 26 November 2024 editorial of Nature magazine. The topic? Millions of research papers are at risk of disappearing from the internet. If you're a researcher, a student, or simply curious about how knowledge is preserved or lost, this episode is for you. Let's start with the problem. Imagine you're writing an academic paper or conducting research, and you need to reference studies from years ago. You type in the DOI, the unique code used to locate digital articles, but nothing. The paper is gone. This isn't a hypothetical scenario. According to a study by Martin Eve, a technology and publishing expert at the University of London, more than 2 million research articles are missing from major digital archives. That's a huge loss for science, education, and society. But why does this happen, and what can we do about it? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about the reasons. The main issue is that digital preservation is expensive and complex. It's not just about saving a file somewhere. It's about actively managing content over time in a world where technology is always changing. Smaller, underfunded journals, especially in developing countries, face the biggest challenges. Some of these journals even disappear completely when their organizations close or lose funding. One study found that 174 open-access journals vanished from the web in the first 2 decades of this century. That's 174 sources of knowledge gone. So, what's being done? Organizations like Portico and Clockus work to archive research articles. Universities and publishers can pay these organizations to preserve content, but this costs money, and not every institution can afford it. Another potential solution is mandating archiving. For example, researchers could be required to store their work in institutional repositories, if their institutions have them. For universities that don't, this requirement could motivate them to create their own archives. And here's an interesting idea: legal deposit libraries. These libraries are obligated to keep a copy of every book or research paper published in a country. Some countries have started applying this concept to digital research, too. Now, let's practice some key phrases from today's discussion. Digital preservation. This means keeping digital materials safe and accessible for the future. Open access journals. These are free online journals available to everyone. Institutional repositories. These are databases run by universities or organizations to store research papers. Practice using these phrases in a sentence. For example, digital preservation is crucial for protecting knowledge in a rapidly changing world. Before we wrap up, here's the big takeaway. Preserving knowledge isn't just about technology, it's about responsibility. Researchers, institutions, and governments all need to play a role in ensuring that knowledge survives for future generations. As the editorial in Nature says, our entire system of science and research relies on the chain of footnotes. Without access to those footnotes, we lose the foundation of scientific progress. And before we wrap up, I have a small request for you. Here on this channel, we aim to create a collaborative community, a space where everyone helps each other improve their academic writing and share ideas. Here's the plan. In the comments section, share your thoughts on today's topic. What do you think about the risk of losing research papers from digital archives? Do you have any solutions or suggestions to tackle this challenge? But don't stop there. take a moment to read and engage with other comments. If you notice a small mistake, or if you see a way to develop someone's idea, kindly share your feedback. Together we can grow, we can learn, and we can support each other in this journey. Let's look at this issue from a global perspective. Did you know that some countries are leading the way in digital preservation, while others are struggling to catch up? For example, countries like Finland and the Netherlands have implemented advanced national archiving systems, ensuring that all publications, digital and print, are safely stored for future generations. On the other hand, developing countries often face challenges, such as limited funding, lack of expertise, and outdated technology. This disparity raises an important question. How can we ensure that knowledge preservation becomes a truly global effort, rather than a privilege of wealthy nations? One potential solution is creating international coalitions where wealthier nations share resources and expertise with those in need. This would not only bridge the gap, but also foster collaboration across borders. Another interesting point to consider is the environmental impact of digital preservation. While storing files on servers might seem harmless, data centers consume vast amounts of electricity and generate significant carbon emissions. This creates a paradox. While we strive to preserve knowledge for the future, we might be contributing to environmental challenges that threaten that very future. Some experts suggest exploring eco-friendly archiving solutions, such as renewable energy-powered data centers or decentralized storage systems. What do you think? Should sustainability be a priority in digital preservation, or is ensuring access to knowledge more important? Let's explore one final angle. How does the loss of research affect innovation? Science and technology thrive on building upon previous discoveries. When key studies disappear, entire fields of research can stagnate. For example, imagine a pharmaceutical company trying to develop a new medicine. If critical studies on past drug trials are lost, the researchers might need to repeat experiments or, worse, miss opportunities to innovate. This not only delays progress but also wastes valuable resources. The same applies to fields like climate science, artificial intelligence, and even the humanities. Without access to foundational work, the progress of entire disciplines is put at risk. Now, let's return to a few key phrases from today's discussion. I'll say them slowly so you can practice. Global collaboration is essential for preserving knowledge. Eco-friendly archiving solutions can help balance preservation with sustainability. The loss of research affects not just academia, but innovation and progress as a whole. Take a moment to repeat these sentences out loud. This will help improve your pronunciation and reinforce your understanding. Now, let's return to a few key phrases from today's discussion. I'll say them slowly so you can practice. Before we close, let's summarize the key takeaways. Knowledge preservation is a global responsibility that requires collaboration and innovation. Both individuals and institutions have roles to play in safeguarding digital content. Thinking about sustainability in archiving practices is essential for balancing progress with environmental stewardship. And now, I'd love to hear from you. Do you think technology alone is enough to preserve knowledge, or is human oversight still critical? What steps do you take to preserve important information in your daily life? Share your answers in the comments below. Let's start a meaningful discussion and learn from each other's experiences. And don't forget to like this episode if you found it insightful. Subscribe to English with Magdalena for more engaging topics. Share this podcast with friends who value knowledge and education. Together, we can make a difference, one conversation at a time. Thank you for joining me. I'm Magdalena, and I can't wait to read your thoughts. Until next time, take care and keep learning. Goodbye.